He crashes through the front door, drunk, loud, slurring. He breaks a lamp, yells at his wife, wakes the kids, falls asleep in his clothes. The neighbors say, "He's just under pressure. Rough day. He'll sleep it off." Now imagine a man walks in calmly, eyes half closed. He smiles, eats cereal, watches cartoons, listens to music, then quietly goes to bed. They say, "He's a drug addict. He's dangerous. He should be arrested." Why? Because one of them drank alcohol and the other smoked hash. One destroys his home and gets a pass. The other minds his business and gets a prison sentence. Why? Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're not defending anything. We're not promoting anything. We're just going to tell you a story the system doesn't want you to hear. A story about two substances. One is sold in every supermarket. The other could land you in jail, even though it's just a plant. Just to be clear, we're not talking about hard drugs like cocaine, heroin, meth. Those destroy lives. That's not this video. We're talking about hashish, cannabis, marijuana, natural plants that have been used for thousands of years. What we're exploring today is how those became demonized, while alcohol got a free pass. Let's be clear. Alcohol is a drug. It damages the liver, the brain, the heart. It fuels car crashes, fights, abuse, and addiction. And yet, it's legal. It's advertised. It's celebrated. Hashish? It can dull pain, ease anxiety, enhance music, make you question yourself, your surroundings, your sadness. But it's banned, feared, demonized. Why? To understand this, we need to dive into the history they never taught you, the ancient balance. Long before laws, both substances existed. In ancient Persia, Egypt, India, hashish was used in rituals, healing, and poetry. Sufi mystics used it to reach altered states of awareness. It was even offered to gods in Hindu ceremonies. Alcohol was also known, but treated with caution. As early as Islamic civilization, wine was prohibited because it led to violence, loss of control, and sin. For centuries, hashish was tolerated. Alcohol was feared. So when did the script flip? It started with an invasion. In 1800, Napoleon marches into Egypt. His soldiers find hashish in every cafe. They aren't drinking wine because they're Muslim, but they are high. Napoleon bans it immediately, not because it made them violent, but because it made them peaceful. And you can't command peaceful men. You need them angry, obedient, aggressive. And they weren't the only empire afraid of what hashish could awaken. A few decades later, 1894, India. The British are running the show, and they're getting nervous. Cannabis is everywhere, in the hands of workers, holy men, musicians, rebels. It's cheap, it's powerful, and worst of all, it's not under their control. So they launch an investigation, the Indian Hemp Drugs Commission. They expect to prove it's dangerous. But here's what they reported. Moderate use of cannabis is practically attended by no evil results. There is no justification for criminalizing it. So what did they do? They banned it anyway, because it was used by the poor, by spiritual seekers, by people who couldn't be taxed. Now fast forward to the United States. In the 1930s, a man named Harry Anslinger takes over America's Narcotics Bureau. Anslinger didn't start a war on heroin or cocaine. He picked marijuana because it was used by jazz musicians, black men, and Mexicans. He fed the media fake stories. A boy smokes weed and kills his family. Black men use it to seduce white women. Jazz musicians are drugged animals. He called it reefer madness. And when asked why he hated it so much, he said, "Reefer makes darkies think they're as good as white men." That was all it took. A lie, a little racism, and a plant became a crime. Anslinger didn't care about health. He cared about race, control, and power. And just like that, weed became criminal. Jazz clubs raided. Black and Mexican men jailed. But alcohol, back on the shelves, heavily taxed, controlled by the system. Then came the United Nations. In 1961, under US pressure, the UN passed the Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs. Hashish, legal for centuries in the Muslim world, was now a Schedule I narcotic, same as heroin. They erased centuries of culture with one vote and forced entire nations to betray their own traditions. Countries like Egypt, Syria, Pakistan, and Morocco were forced to criminalize it, even when their people didn't want to. The Western world had decided this plant is now evil, and this poison, let's raise a glass. So, why did they really do it? Because hashish was grown by anyone, smoked by the poor, used by mystics, rebels, thinkers. But alcohol, industrialized, branded, taxed, politically embedded. One was a natural medicine, the other was a corporate product. And governments always protect the product. Let's just stop for a moment and compare the two, not by reputation, not by law, but by what they actually do to human lives. Alcohol is one of the most addictive substances on Earth. It destroys the liver. It shrinks the brain. It's behind millions of deaths every year, from drunk driving, organ failure, violence, suicide. People die from it. Families break because of it. And quitting alcohol cold turkey, that can literally kill you. You don't need a study. Just walk into any ER on a Saturday night. Guess what fills the beds? Not weed. Now, let's talk about hash, or marijuana. Does it have risks? Of course, it can affect memory, focus, motivation. Heavy use might increase anxiety in some people, but no one overdoses from it. No one goes home and beats their spouse because of it. And in many countries, it's now being used to treat pain, PTSD, cancer side effects, even epilepsy in children. So why is the first one legal and sold on every corner, while the second one can still get you arrested? Today, alcohol is everywhere. Ads on highways, billboards, Super Bowls, weddings, even in Muslim majority countries, sold quietly to elites and tourists. Meanwhile, someone with a joint, still doing time, still called dangerous, still treated like a criminal. Even though science tells us alcohol kills brain cells, causes addiction and disease, is responsible for over 3 million deaths every year. While hashish, no recorded overdose deaths, used medically in over 30 countries, still illegal in most of the world. We didn't make this video to encourage you to smoke, and we definitely didn't make it to encourage you to drink. We made this video because you deserve to know the truth. The truth is, they've been selling you a lie with a price tag. They control what's legal. They shape what's moral, and they punish what they can't profit from. You deserve to know that laws are not always based on logic, that morality is sometimes shaped by money, and that the things you're told to fear might just be things the system can't control. Because in the beginning we asked, why does one get a pass and the other get prison? Now you know. So no, this isn't about weed versus whiskey. This is about questioning the stories you were raised on. Because once you see the lie, you'll start seeing everything else they tried to hide. Thank you for watching. If this story opened your eyes, give it a like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share it with someone who still thinks alcohol is the normal one. I've left all the sources linked in the description if you want to check them out. And that was another story from the wise, the stupid, and the funny.